Hey guys, so this is the last part for the tips for Hissabeth, and this is regarding her synergy with other units. I will also go through the supports, but I already have posted the video about which support unit is actually the best for her. So in this video, I'm just going to explain it a little why they are actually the best for her. So after using Hissabeth for a while, her damage is actually pretty good. And if compared to some of the pure DPS units, because personally I do categorize Hissabeth as a sub DPS, but the more I use her in a team, she always end up doing the most damage, especially compared to a lot of plant units that we have right now. She actually deals the most, right? So here I'm really, it's difficult to decide, but let's just say that she can function as a DPS and also function as a sub DPS due to her utility and her versatility to be put in together with other teams as well. But anyway, the first part of this video is talking about Hissabeth as a DPS. So she has several sources of damage output. For example, her ultimate, that's 500% mental damage. His, if you are at P0, is 250 for each rank 3. And if you have watched the video about her rotation, that is what you want to achieve. You want to achieve to at least have 2 rank 3 every round. And that's another 500% mental damage. And then if the enemy has 8 Serpentine skill on them, then we will do 210, or is it slightly higher? Maybe I miscalculated it a bit, but yeah, it's about there, 200 plus Genesis damage. So when you add that all up, it's over 1000%. And if you buff her enough, each of the his attack can even deal up to like 70 or even 100,000 damage. So 2 hits, that's easy like 150, and the ultimate would be another 50, but that's AoE. And after that, Serpentine skill is Genesis, and that's also about 40,000 damage. So when you add up together, every round she can do like 200 to 300 damage. So if you consider in terms of AP requirement in order to do that much damage, she just need 1 AP every round, and she can do 200, 300 worth of damage. And if you consider a rotation like any other DPS, their rotation is usually 3 rounds. So in 3 rounds, Hissabeth can do almost or probably 1 million damage. So that is actually really high if you think about it. So she is not like, you know, one shot and then you see 1 million damage. And is it just because of that everyone decided to call her that she's a weak unit, she doesn't do enough damage? Just because her damage is, you know, is coming in small part, but a lot. So when you add it all up together, it actually is pretty good damage. Alright, so if we consider especially damage per AP use, and you actually start calculating the other characters and how much AP they need in order to do that damage, I do believe Hissabeth will be one of the top. Okay, when you are considering how much damage she will do based on the AP she consumed. So which support is the best? So from my video, the best support is actually Vila. The reason is because Vila add 200 mental damage to a rank 3 attack, and that's what his is, rank 3. So at P0 is 250%. Now with Vila basically just doubles that, right, with 200% mental damage. And on top of that, she's giving Hissabeth 30% crit, 40% crit damage with all the healing and occasionally power burst. In the video that I posted on the damage, I did not apply power burst on her, okay, or else his level 3 will deal more damage. And the reason why I didn't apply power burst because it's only for one time, but Hissabeth used several ultimates and attack in one round, so that power burst only works on one. So it's not really, you know, it's not really that significant, right? If you are considering all the attack that she does, that power burst doesn't really add up to a higher number. And Mercuria here, because of his level 3, it's actually very easy to increase cosmic energy stacks. So you can always get like 50% easily with 20% creep. And since Hissabeth is not using so much AP, so you definitely can use Mercuria's creep every 2 rounds without a problem. And then on top of that, Mercuria also provide 30% crit damage. But unfortunately, the incantation might that she provides to the party cannot be used by Hissabeth because his is actually an ultimate. So it is not classified as an incantation, but it is a rank attack. So rank attack does help Mercuria. For Druvis, 25% damage dealt, 40% penetration rate on the enemy that has been petrified, and about 50% attack up. But performance-wise, Mercuria and Druvis is almost the same. But do note that if the enemy has very high defense, Druvis definitely will prevail. One more thing, because Druvis doesn't have creep, so you might have reduced creep if you are using Druvis. Alright, so do keep that in mind. Although the number in terms of creep, they are like similar, but overall, if you are doing a lot of attack and Druvis is not providing enough creep, then you overall will lose out in damage. But if you are against enemy with very high defense, then Druvis definitely and should be the better unit to support Hissabeth. So since Villa was top 1, the second one is actually Argus, right? So Argus provides a lot. One good thing is that Argus debuff is single target, and when you're attacking with Hiss and all of that, it's actually single target on one enemy, right? So Hissabeth kind of have ultimate is AoE, but most of her damage actually is single target based. So Argus work very well. Not only that, Hissabeth applying to his rank 3 means that it is very easy for Argus to trigger a rank 3 attack at the end, which also help for Argus to provide more damage. Because if Argus use a rank 3 incantation, she provides 20% damage belt to the entire party, which then helps Hissabeth. And then Hissabeth help her, and she help back. So they are definitely a very good combo as well. And 45% damage taken debuff, as well as 45% crit defense down, makes attack much harder, right? Making her the second best option after Villa to support Hissabeth. And then here I have Lopera, 25% ultimate might, 40% crit, 15 to 20% crit damage, depends on Lopera's own crit damage, and access crit conversion to 40% with single target healing. One thing in my test is that Lopera is alone, so I am not using the other unit to buff Hissabeth, so it's just Lopera, and probably I did not hit 100% crit, so the excess crit conversion part is not really applied, right? Which makes Lopera slightly lower in terms of the damage amplification that she provides to Hissabeth. Okay, but let's say in a full team, like you have Mercuria there, or you have like Villa, and then you put Lopera, then it's very high chance that your crit will be over 100%, so the crit conversion here would work, which probably can make Lopera a better unit to help Hissabeth. But at the moment, in my other video where I compared, she's actually the last of the 7 characters that I tested. Okay, Medicine Pocket, 20% damage taken debuff, 30% crit resist down, and 40% crit damage down. So just from that crit debuffs, it really helps Hissabeth to hit much harder. And in terms of sustain, out of these 7 units, Medicine Pocket probably has the best sustain. So in terms of the 3 best team, I really do recommend like Villa, Argus, and then you put Medicine Pocket. You can also put Lopera, but Lopera healing is actually enough in most content, but I think in the deeper level of Reverie, you definitely want to use some of the more recent sustain because they are really very good at it. Okay. Lastly, from Melania, out support, and Hissabeth is basically casting at least 3 to 4 out every round. So Melania with 72% ultimate damage up, 36% crit, 36% crit damage with Moxie Oval, Pleasure Drain actually helps the entire kit, helps Hissabeth entire kit pretty well. Okay, so although she is not in the level of Argus and Villa to boost damage, but the utility that Melania provides as well does make her one of the better options to put her into Hissabeth's team. Alright, so in terms of utility, these are some characters that Hissabeth can work pretty well with. I wouldn't say they are best in slot, no, but they work pretty well. So pretty well means compared to like best in slot, they are probably just slightly below it, right? So no problem, you can just use Hissabeth with them. You can clear content. So first of all, Liang Yue, Hissabeth, if you go for the out spamming rotation that I recommended, so you will be doing at least 3 hits of different ranks with 1 ultimate every round. So that's 4 ultimate you use, and 3 hits means 3 extra peace talents. So this will allow Liang Yue to trigger more Bane of All Evil, which overall increases Liang Yue's damage output. Alright, so there's one good synergy that you can explore. And then I have Recoleta. So every time Hissabeth uses his, she will grant 1 Moxie to Recoleta. So this allows Recoleta to easily get all the way up to 10 Moxie before she uses the ultimate, because at 10 Moxie, she will double all the ultimate damage boost that she receives, making her hit really, really hard. And for the third unit here is NN Lee. So this is more of a utility because Hissabeth P0, P1, you can't guarantee petrification every round. You can probably just do it every 2 rounds because rigidity that she inflicts on the enemy is only once per turn. But if you use her with NN Lee buff up the whole team, and now making all attacks are able to inflict a negative status, it is likely you will end up one of them to be rigidity, which will instantly merge with the one that Hissabeth inflicted, turning into petrification. So now you can petrify the enemy every single round. If the enemy doesn't have resistance, if the enemy has, then you can just do it every other round as well. Okay, here I also listed poison team, but this poison team and how Hissabeth actually helps out the poison team is only workable in Reverie. That's because we need the Spirit Myth Manifest. The Spirit Myth Manifest, when you set up the one that every time you use an ultimate, you increase the negative status by 1 round. So imagine now that you are casting 4 ultimates, 1 actual ultimate and 3 hits. So all the poison stack will increase 4 times. Okay, so this make it possible to not let any of the poison that the team inflict on the enemy to expire. So you can just keep increasing the stack until a very high number, and then you use Sotheby's ultimate or Tuesday's ultimate and trigger all the poison, killing the enemy. Like you will be doing 400,000 damage Genesis, and that is pretty good. But it's only workable in Reveries. Okay, and the last 2, Flutter Page. Flutter Page technically is not a direct synergy in a sense because Flutter Page is follow-up attack. Hissabeth is not follow-up attack. So Flutter Page doesn't do anything for Hissabeth. But instead, Hissabeth doing multiple attack every round means that Flutter Page will be able to quickly or be able to easily sustain her gas stacks. But even without Hissabeth, we are already able to maintain it. So I guess it's really, a preference if you really want to do this. But do note that if you go with the team that is heavily on follow-up attack, you got no problem maintaining gas stacks, right? So, but it doesn't mean that Hissabeth will be a bad pairing with the follow-up attack team. You can always do that as well. And here there's Moldier. So we haven't got Moldier in the global version, so this might be a spoiler for some of you. But anyway, Moldier need 30 stacks because both Flutterpage and Moldier is kind of like similar in mechanics because they do have a certain stacks which depletes and you need to keep replenish it. So for Moldier, it is how much Moxie is consumed. So if you think about it, like you have a team of 4 units, then every unit is just going to do an ultimate every 3 rounds. So then you are just getting like 20 stacks. It's very hard to reach all the way to 30 stacks. But with Hissabeth, you can get 5 and consume 5 Moxie every round. So in 3 rounds, that's already 15 Moxie. So you just need the other unit to use ultimate once in 3 rounds, and then you can stack up all the way to 30. So Hissabeth definitely help out in terms of Moldier buff stacks. So once you hit 30 stacks, then you get 60% out damage up, 30% crit, and then you get excess crit to crit damage 100%. Okay, and then if you use Moldier's ultimate, she also grants ceremonious crit damage, but again, I don't want to really factor this in for Hissabeth because Hissabeth does multiple attack and this is only one time. So with that, yeah, I've tested Hissabeth in different setups. So the question here is that, should you still pull for her? Okay, first of all, Hissabeth is not as weak as what people say she is. Her damage is consistent and is not low at all. If you give her the right support, she does amazing damage. Her versatility to me is her main strength. So this allowed you to put her into many different things and it will be good enough to clear a lot of content, including reveries. So if that is something that you need, then you should really consider pulling for Hissabeth. And also she has a very good synergy with Spirit Myth Manifest, and you can do a bunch of crazy stuff with it, which to me is really fun, like stacking up poison, reducing enemies Moxie until there's nothing left. So to me those are really fun thing, and that is why I wanted Hissabeth. However, I do understand as well, next patch will be Assassin's Creed collab, and I think it has to be something really good. So maybe you should wait, if you have limited pools, to wait and go for the Assassin's Creed collabs rather than Hissabeth, right? Keeperina is a very good sustain, even not in impromptu team. So if you really need a sustain, I also would say prioritize Keeperina over Hissabeth. And then in patch 2.8, it really changed the entire meta. So even now I can say that Hissabeth is a DPS, but by the time you go to 2.8, then she really then function as a sub DPS. Because the damage boost from the new unit like Nautica and Lucy Dynamo is really pretty insane. So should you still pull? Only if you have spare resources, then you should. Because it's really fun and it's really good. But if you really have limited resource because you are free to play, then I would say skip her and then hope AC collab will be good, get Keeperina, and then start saving for patch 2.8 and 3.0. Okay, so that's all for this video. For those who have pulled for Hissabeth, yay, congratulations. For those who did not but consider do so, do check your resource if it's enough for future pulls or not. Right? So anyway, thank you for watching and have a good day.